Hey, good Friday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray, and believe it or not, somehow or another, we blinked an eye and it became October the 21st. It's a fair sky right now as you wake up and 42 degrees, quite nippy. Me and Sophie were outside earlier this morning and, well, she didn't want to stay very long. She came on back to the house pretty quick there. So keep it in mind as you begin today to grab a jacket and carry with you. Won't last long. We'll have temperatures warming up to about 78 later on. That's an outlook for today. Gorgeous weekend involved. A lot of things going on. We'll talk about the parades and different candy events that will go on over the next few days. Halloween right around the corner. This is a perfect time for the kids to enjoy themselves. A lot of things to do and see. Hope you can make it out for that. Of course, Cornhole Championship, Downtown Meridian this weekend. So hope you can do that. If you're a first-time watcher, we do appreciate you being here. Don't forget, you can also join us on YouTube. If you've never visited us there before, let me show this. You can look for that right there. Join us there. It's a great way to have a backup way to watch us. Two ways, always. Subscribe and get notified when we go live from there as well. Great signal. Keep you up to date on that. All right, as we begin today, let's, as I mentioned, a few things that are going on. Let me pull up some PSAs that we know that are going to happen today. Let's pull this up and bring this up. Also, I want to mention Sealer Ward Parkway. That's going to be closed coming up the 26th, so watch out for that. That's next week. It will be closed from C Street to Front Street. Take about a week to complete. It's just, well, it's already a mess, but believe it or not, it can be worse. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, don't forget about this going on. Queen City Race for Life is going to be taking place. Benefits breast cancer awareness there. Meridian Community College helping put that on. So that will be happening tomorrow. Hope you can take part of that. Halloween Carnival is going to be this weekend also. Tomorrow, 6:30 to 9:30 at St. Patrick Church. Haunted house tickets are $5, 50 cents for the food and games. Come out. Help support them in their events of what they do. Hope you can enjoy that. And then, as we mentioned, we got so much going on tomorrow in Downtown Meridian with the parade and all. As we pull this up, we'll have registration still going on through today, through 6 p.m. as we get ready for that parade tomorrow night. It does start at 6, $20 entry fee, $100 prize for best overall. Buds and burgers going on. They will have the Cornhole Championship game going on downtown, next to DC Guitar. There's so much that you can take advantage of there. We'll have some more of these events also to bring up for you coming up at the 8 o'clock show. Hope you'll join that. We got a lot of news and things that went on over the last 24 hours to discuss. As we move forward, let's all begin today with a note, the good word. Sent out to Collinsville Baptist. And, well, we're going to learn a little bit about marriage this morning from Brother Ben.
Marriage is one of God's greatest gifts because it's not good for a person to be alone. But sadly, about 50% of all marriages end in divorce. On this topic, Jesus essentially said in Matthew 5:31 and 32, you've heard it said that divorce isn't a big deal, but I'm here to tell you it's a huge deal. Now, of course, Jesus is right. Divorce doesn't just wreck a marriage and a family, it destroys a community. Communities with higher levels of divorce have higher levels of crime, imprisonment, child abuse, poverty, school dropouts, and teen births. Beloved, do you want to see our community change for the better? Do this one simple thing. Marry your child's parent and stay married to them until the day one of you dies. Sound old-fashioned? Well, maybe it is, but more importantly, it's biblical and blessed. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Always a good message from Brother Ben. A lot of truth to what he just said. Does help matters there. Good morning. We see James is watching us from APEC this morning. Charlotte Gray joining us from Philadelphia. Donna Roseman, how are you? Chet's up. Out of Chet's Paint and Body. LaWanda, good morning. Renee is moving on. And from Preston, Lamar Hembry. A little bit of all places watching this morning. Kathy Shar watching from the big city of Union. Lost Gap joins us with Derek Bell. So glad to see each and every one of you. I got a message last night. I was over at my mother taking care of her, and I got a message from somebody from Kimber said, walk outside. So I walked outside, and I said, what am I supposed to see? Well, look up. Well, I didn't see anything. It was that fast I missed it. It went through scuba and passed through here before I could catch it. And then I started getting numerous reports of, hey, what's this I got a picture of? Did you see it? As we go to this, Starlink is what this is supposed to be. I've got pictures from Laurel, the different areas there. And if you'll look at this, I know that looks small, but everybody that took a picture of it said this was humongous as it passed by the starlight. I've got to do a little bit more reading on that, but we had so many pictures from all around with this. Videos, we've got many of them attached to this. So if you get a chance today, go to our Facebook page and take a look at that. Interesting of just so many places that saw it. And it did look like a UFO. I had several going, wait a minute, you can't tell me that's a UFO. But take a look. Some of the things we see sometimes can't be explained at the moment. Interesting, though. Also, this morning, don't forget, at 8 o'clock we'll be here. We'll show you this little fella here, and we'll do the full video at 8 o'clock. But just as a teaser of this, I had someone passing through on an airplane. They stopped in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, PA is where they were, and they were in the airport. And they stopped in, little shops. You've been in airports, and all of a sudden, there's a raccoon, however you want to pronounce that. Here's this little fella right here. We'll play this full video this morning. Do you see him sitting there? He's the little thief as he attempts to run off with some Twizzlers. Bless his heart.
He's going to grab the...
We'll show the full video this morning with this, and I hope you'll join us. Watch that. If you want to see the full video also there on Facebook, it's listed on YouTube and also on our Twitter account. But little fellow must live in the air conditioner vents there at the airport. Pretty clever, wasn't he? Never seen anything quite like that. As we get into some more of the more serious stories that have gone on, a home and car was shot last night within the city limits of Meridian. Well, that's not uncommon, is it? It's getting to be one of those things where we go, yeah, tell me something new. It happened last night as we pulled this up. In the 2200 block of 34th Avenue, MPD came to the scene. No one was hurt, but we did have damage. As you see here, this is just to the northeast of Highland Park. Highland Park sits here, and it would sit just due northeast of there. That's where the home was struck. And how your house gets shot and you don't get injured, I have no idea. Just a miracle is all I can say. We had a light pole struck last night. Whoever hit it drove off right after they did it. Left the light pole laying in the ground. Odds are they got to have some damage, don't they? This is the scene of that from last night as well. This was where 20th Street meets State Boulevard. Got to be running from something or, well, doing something that you shouldn't have to leave the scene of something like that. Power company had to come out and replace the pole. Pretty serious stuff there. And if you were driving down Allen Swamp Road last night, whoops, there was a load of hay in the road as a truck made a turn out of a farm. I believe hit the ditch and tipped the load, and as it come out in the middle of the road, took them a little while to get all that cleaned up. That's one of those things of, boy, if I'd have just taken just a little bit more time. It happens. We've all done things of that nature. I got pictures of this yesterday afternoon where the new shoe store or shoe manufacturer is going in on 22nd Avenue there at the old Hooper's building. Have y'all seen this? Well, we had a leak yesterday right there in the middle of the road. There it is. Whoop, we hit a water line, and it commenced to spraying. Somebody made the comment, I made that small leak. And in comparison to the last one I get, that was small. The last one I got, they hit a line that was going 40 to 50 feet in the air. It was a main line that was hit, and it was humongous. But that slowed things down for just a second on there as we look at a few of those events. We also had grass fires yesterday, and this is going to be common until things we get a few rains. We had this out on Highway 11 and 80, another grass fire. As a matter of fact, it was 2 or 3 reported in the area because wind caught it and it was jumping. As we'll look at that, the volunteer fire department out near Shirley Circle on 1180 went out and put that out. I think they had to respond a couple of times to make sure that they got it. Boy, our Neshoba County Sheriff, Eric Clark, and his deputies have been busy. Anybody keeping up with this? Maybe you saw the press release that we posted yesterday from Neshoba County. An ATV theft ring That's nothing more than what you can call it. As 3 people were taken into custody. Let's pull this up. We can see this. If you hadn't read it, it's on our webpage as well. You can find all of this at sammedia.network. 4-wheeler theft ring, or ATV, however you want to word that. As we look at this, Blake Hagewood of Philadelphia arrested and charged. Mason Anthony and Jake D. Ross of Hickory. One person was from Union. Again, all suspects that were taken into custody. If you look at the list of thefts that go down through here, started in 2020, and it just keeps going there with all those. Here's a picture of the arrest as we see there from there. All young men. A shame that something happened like this. Again, you can read about that. We've got the arrest report there where you can click on it and learn more about each individual. A shame is all I can say. As we start looking at our big, how do you word this? It's just, it's horrible. The state of Mississippi, the welfare scandal, all of this is not over. Mississippi Today still reporting on this. One of the few newspapers or medias that really stay on top of it, stay on top of the facts. Nancy New and her son, of course, is going to jail at some point of this. They're awaiting their sentence. They're asking the judge to hold off just a little while, let the criminal investigation continue and wrap up before they're sentenced. There's this side going, well, they really want it to go away and give them more time without spending a sentence, while others go, well, they really need to find out who else is involved, because if they do this, it'll go quiet and be hush-hush. They're working with authorities. They've made a plea deal is what they've done. We'll see what becomes of it. A lot of folks involved all the way to the top. We'll see what happens. Politicians are sweating still on this one. They want it to go away bad. Yeah, a lot more I could say that, well, we know where it is. Sometimes you have to read between the lines on these stories of what goes on. A shame. Is this the first time? Probably not. Has there been things probably bigger we don't know about? Could be. But this is the first that has ever been caught. We'll have to thank Shad White for that, for initiating this, which began all of this. And one thing led to another. Rumor is he may run for governor. We don't know that. Shad has made many a friend with doing his job right. We'll see what he does on this. Tragedy strikes again in Mississippi as we go to Rankin County. A log truck driver was killed yesterday. As we learn more about this incident, a garbage truck had stopped. The 18-wheeler in front of him stopped, and he came along and smashed into the back of another 18-wheeler. He lost his life at the scene. There were about 4 cars involved. One other person was rushed to a hospital. We only had one fatality involved in this. This happened around 9:30 in Puckett in Rankin County. Awful. A 33-year-old man lost his life in that wreck. We passed condolences to his family this morning. Without a father, a husband, brother, child. Just awful. We do hate to hear that. If you live in Pascagoula or watching from the Mississippi Gulf Coast, keep in mind that there is a boil water notice for the entire city of Pascagoula. Had an issue there. The entire city. Don't drink the water, as they say. Boy, this next headline from Mississippi, a Nesbitt man has been sentenced to jail. What did he do? Making threats. Don't make threats online. A lot of racist threats. He even said he was going to hurt people. Doing that, they launched a criminal investigation. He's been arrested. He's going to spend the next 2.5 years in jail over that. A man's been arrested and charged with aggravated assault. What did he do? Shot a woman in the head. Now, didn't kill her, grazed her head. But he's been arrested. He'll spend a little time behind bars for doing that. Domestic disputes. They go on and on and on. Every day we see more of these. Did you see this? Tupelo, Mississippi, which is, the northern portion of the state and the northeast side of the state. If you were to go due north from central Mississippi, arrested a lady there for shoplifting. She had gone into Belk. $1,000 or more she had stuffed in her purse. She was from Birmingham. They got cameras everywhere, folks. They see what you see and do. Fortunately, Mississippi and Alabama and the Deep South still arrest people for shoplifting and taking things that aren't theirs. out to our West California and, well, cities that have different leaders. Don't do that anymore, do they? As we get closer, and we'll have Dr. Alan Brown coming in before the end of the month to talk about Haunted Mississippi. He's one of our favorites that we have each year that comes in and tells us all about this. As I was glancing over this, some of the biggest areas that they say in Mississippi are the most haunted, cemetery in Kosciuszko ranks at the top. Cemetery in Madison, Stuckey's Bridge making the top 3. Been there many a time that it's supposed to be there. King's Tavern, we spent the night there many years ago, done a broadcast from there. Pascagoula, Waverly, where they say the little girl goes in and lays on the bed. Now, I've never seen that. They say an indention will appear on the bed. Gives you the willies thinking about that, doesn't it? Woo! Let's see, and they also say the Grand Opera House making the top 10 in Meridian, one of the most haunted places. I was seeing McRaven, by all means, the McRaven home in Vicksburg. You know, I've always heard of all the things. Most hauntings and things of that nature are just friendly. They always say, McRaven, there's something else there that's not good, that's not nice. Just a heads up if you're a ghost hunter and you're out trying to track down the ghost. Keep that in mind if you ever go there. Didn't see where Mary Hope made it. Something spooky up in that place. You may know of a place. We'll talk a little bit more about this this morning at 8 o'clock. I hope you'll join us. Brooksville, Mississippi, as we go north of Macon. What's going on? Police chief has resigned. As you dig deeper into this, it was the first police chief they'd had in 8 years. She started in April, declined to say why she was leaving, but she's gone. They are now without a police chief. Oh, you know where Brooksville is, the split in the road. They'll stop you if you're going a little too fast through there. Thought you might want to know about that. Let's see here. As we go to North Mississippi, we'll go to Lafayette County. We had a gentleman shot. Another example of domestic disputes. They were called to the scene. He had 2 kids that were older in the home that had barricaded themselves into their bedroom because their father was acting, well, not himself. The wife was outside. He had a gun threatening everybody. All was good until he pointed it at the police. He was taken out at the scene. He was tried to be revived. He didn't make it. Never point, threaten police in a standoff. And that's where that went bad for him there. We go, and some will say, oh, this is the new wave. This is a great thing. Others will say, I don't think so. But as we go to Brookhaven, the aldermen finally have voted, and they've made a change. Up until now, you could drink Monday through Saturday. Couldn't do it on Sunday. They've passed a new town ordinance where if you're in a restaurant, well, yeah, you can drink now. You can also purchase beer and wine and anything else. On Sundays, liquor stores can only be open a certain amount of time, but you'll be able to buy beer and purchase other things. Some will say it's wonderful. Others will disagree. It wasn't unanimous by any means, if you'll dig deeper into that. But that's what's happening in our state this morning when you look down to Brookhaven, south part of the state there. As we look to Harvey Weinstein on trial this week, we'll see here. They've got 9 men and 3 women that will hear the case. We'll see what becomes of that. Don't know what will happen, but we'll see here in the next few days. This is good. Mississippi, I thought I'd bring this up this morning. The lottery, up to $550 million. Not quite that billion, but that's a half. So if you're wanting to pitch in and grab a little something, might be your time to buy that ticket there. We step over to Alabama next. As we see that, you ever watched any of these TV shows? What is it, 90 Day Fiancé, where they go to another country and they drag them back to the U.S. and they struggle to get married and fight? And I absolutely don't care for those, but my wife does. And I have to walk through every once in a while, and it's on there, and I go, huh. Yeah, watch this. A British man, well, he came over, got him a girlfriend right off the internet, came to Alabama. The father didn't like him. He moved in, arguing back and forth, and the father, who was about 60, told him that he didn't act right. He'd send him back home in a box to his mama. He stabbed him, put him in a barrel, buried him in concrete. He's been arrested, and he's not going to get married now. Watch who you invite into your home is the moral of these stories. Just shocks me. Now, I'm not much. I don't watch a lot of NFL because, well, their beliefs are a little bit different than mine, and I have to draw a line in the sand of what I can live with and what I cannot. NFL, I cannot. Maybe you know this guy, former NFL running back, Quentin Hines. Anybody know him? I don't know him, but apparently he was somebody at one point that was big. A running back is what he was. He rented, this was going to be in Michigan, I think is where this went on. Yeah, Michigan. He rented a Michigan high school gymnasium for a charity event. Everything was well until the stripper showed up. What would make you think you can do that in a high school? He's been banned from renting the school gymnasium anymore. I didn't even know you could do that. We'll see what happens today if there's a call at the last minute, but Oklahoma getting ready to execute a man this afternoon before the sun goes down. 2002, he murdered his 9-month-old baby girl. Makes my skin shudder to think about how that poor child died. 9 months old. Basically broke her back, killed her. No, I don't have sympathy for him. That is over the top, one of the worst things that you could ever do. Again, it makes your my blood pressure rise anyway to read stories like that of people that could harm someone who cannot help themselves. 9-month-old baby. We'll see what becomes of it. His name is Benjamin Cole. His lawyers are claiming he's mentally ill. Should end today. We'll see. We'll watch the story. We got more on the way. Y'all don't rush off. This is a bright and early Friday morning. We got your forecast next. We'll check all of that here in just a second, so stay close with us. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. The Square Peg Mini Mall is located across from the Neshoba County Co-op in Philadelphia. And they're getting ready for the Christmas season with a large variety of furniture and over 30 vendors to browse through. You can take advantage of the layaway on furniture and not pick it up until Christmas Eve. The inventory is constantly updating, and there's always a chance for a surprise when you step inside. Family owned and operated, where they treat you like family. Come visit the Square Peg Mini Mall located at 335 West Main Street in Philadelphia. As we look at comments this morning, Ben tells us football senior night at West Lauderdale tonight. West Lauderdale taking on Choctaw Central, 7 o'clock kickoff. Good luck to all. You've got a ball game. Let us know who you're playing. We'll mention that also at the 8 o'clock show if we don't get it on before the top of the hour. Hope everybody has a great time. And don't forget the big one tomorrow as we have college football. Mississippi State will take on Alabama. We'll find out what becomes of that one. What are your odds? What do you guess? All right, as we glance at radar this morning, let's take a quick look here as we glance across the state and go to, of course, our friends at Meridian Honda Radar to take a look. Absolutely nothing happening in the state. We have a little bit of fog over in Alexandria, off to our east, Gadsden, Alabama, showing a little bit of fog there this morning, and right there on the Georgia line. Columbus, just south of there, some fog, and we have a little bit up by Knoxville. Charleston has a smidgen of it this morning, but overall it looks great here in the state of Mississippi. You can't beat it. Let's get deeper into our forecast now.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we go back for the record highs and record lows, it was 04 that we had a high of 84 today. I was a child, first grade, 1976. It was a low of 29 this morning. Whew, have mercy, that was a cold day. Back in 76, bicentennial year, it was a big one for us there. As we look today, 78 is what we'll get. Sunshine throughout the area. A little warmer. Philadelphia, 79 as you go through Louisville, and somewhere around 77 to 78 hovering right there at Mississippi State. As we go south, we'll hit 80 in Hattiesburg, 82 over in Natchez. Great weather all across the state. Into Alabama, we'll see 75 all the way from Demopolis, Tuscaloosa, even areas there around our friends over in Livingston. 73 cooler in Burmaland today. As we glance across this, we'll see that we're normal for the next few days, but we do have a cool front out to our west. Look at that. Warmed up a little bit from that little cool spell we had. Now, here's our 7-day outlook. Today, 77. Look at the weekend as we welcome in all of the Halloween parades this weekend and activities. 78 for your Saturday. We'll get down to 50 tomorrow night as you wake up on Sunday morning. Coming up, great weather. Almost exact forecast for Sunday. Now, Monday will be our warmest day that we'll see. It will jump to 81. And then as we saw in there, things will start cooling down just a little bit. Look at this. 72 by Thursday of next week. Our biggest chance of rain will be Tuesday. That's not a big one. Woo. As we move forward and go another week into this, as we'll see 79 on next Friday, a week from today. And as we go down with this, 73 about the highest. We'll see all the way through November the 4th. Can you believe we're even talking November the 4th? It's going to be Thanksgiving, turkeys, everybody getting together, family arguments over football games. It's something to look forward to, isn't it? As we look to the National Hurricane Center, what's going on? Absolutely zero. That's great to report. No threat of any serious weather coming toward the Gulf. Like that better each time we look at that. As we head to our favorite fishing times today, what is the best time? We go to Chet's. Looks like 10 o'clock today till noon. If you can slip away and act like you're working somewhere to your favorite spot, it's a great time to do it. Light south wind becoming 5 to 10 today. So nothing major there. So a quick look at some headlines across the U.S., and we're coming back again in about 1 hour from now. 1 hour and 2 minutes. Candace will be in. We'll go over all the national stories that are happening. As Beth said, it's her kind of weather. Fall-looking shirt. I like this old shirt. It wears good. There's some shirts, y'all all know this, you get a piece of clothing you just never like. I got several of those. But it's a great night for football. Keep in mind, even though it's not exactly Halloween, starting this weekend, we'll probably start to see hay rides. People doing extra things. Use caution after dark, at dusk dark with kids from now till we get into November. It's just anything can happen, and we want everybody to be safe. So keep that in mind. We'll be back in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Be back with us, and we'll give you the latest headlines of everything that's going on in and around our community all across the nation. Happens right here with the Scotty Ray Report. Thank y'all so much.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: